What is the current plan with Göbekli Tepe? Are they plan to keep digging down to try to find more? And what is plans, if any, to excavate more of these mounds where they found Göbekli Tepe?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll start at Göbekli Tepe. Yeah. So there's been a big drama going on about that. People are claiming it's, this is Jimmy Corsetti. He's been talking about this. There's saying they've halted excavations there. Now, so they've certainly slowed down since the whole time for sure. But I've been there. I go there twice a year. We do take groups out there and stuff, and they're constantly doing things. There's always stuff happening. They're always cleaning up, sorting things out. The issue with Göbekli Tepe is that it's buried so deep. Right. It's a huge amount, like 30 feet of rubble and stone and dirt they've got to carefully move out of the way of each stone. So I can understand why it's a bit slow. It makes sense because they've got to do it carefully. If they do one little bit of damage, they're in trouble. And so then they have to get down to the bedrock. They have to clean it all up. They have to preserve things, fix things, glue things back together in some cases.
How much deeper do you think it is?
Well, I think they've reached the bedrock in the main the area they're excavating in the southeast.
So it's not deeper.
But there's like 90% of it has barely been touched, which could be just as deep. So a huge amount of work needs to be done.
Wow.
But they are working on it. They found some new carvings in enclosure B. They found this last year. This had a whole load of dirt just above the head of that bore.
Wow.
Since for decades. Yeah, for decades. They only just found this because they just cleared away some dirt.
Wow.
And so that really kind of gets me.
Cool.
And so they are working away slowly. A new bit of information has just come out from the head of the whole kind of Tastepala kind of cult, people that are organising it, and they're saying that they are now going to remove some trees because some trees have been planted up there controversially by the landowners, which was done partly to it gives them more value on their own property, but they're going to remove some trees and start excavating new areas. This is actually being announced, but I don't know if it's been publicly announced, but we saw the Turkish announcement of it. So more is going to start to be done for sure. And I think they're being kind of pressured into it a little bit from the general public because of, Jimmy's been pushing, that they're not doing enough. And in a way they're not. They really could do a lot more. I mean, I really want to see the whole place excavated. Yeah. But they're saying they're not going to do it. They're going to leave it for future generations. Wow. But luckily, Karahan Tepe, they're going for it. It's like, they're blasting through it. Good. They're not messing around. They've got like loads of people up there working on it for like half the year pretty much. I think they extended the dig all the way into up until November. They removed it? Yeah, they put it in the museum. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they had. I think they kind of had to really keep it safe because they're excavating all around it. They don't want to
look at the toucan. You see that little toucan?
Oh, there's all sorts in that museum. It's crazy. Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a vulture.
Oh, a vulture
from Karahan Tepe. That was one of the new discoveries.
That makes more sense.
That's about 2.5 feet tall, and so now they're working on Karahan Tepe, which is insane, amazing place, and they're also now working. Focused on that part, yeah. And
these guys got short little stubby chodes. I wonder what that's about. Why are they showing their dicks?
Well, we think it's fertility. We think it's
fertility.
There's fertility rites going on here. Myself and JJ have been working on that as a kind of possibility because it fits in with other traditions from other cultures.
Are you familiar with Mark John Allegro?
Yes, I am. Yeah. The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross.
Yeah.
I'm aware of his work very much. So yeah, I've read all that.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean that fits in.
Jesus Christ was a psychedelic mushroom.
Yeah, I mean this fits in. This weirdly fits in with a lot of this kind of era stuff, in my opinion. That a lot of the symbolism and mythologies come from that kind of psychedelic kind of inspirations. But other sites are being excavated. There's one really interesting one called Sayburc, which is Sayburc with a little thing on the C. You might want to check that out. And that is a fascinating site. Yeah, and you can see like any of the images there. I've probably got one of mine up there somewhere. And this is a whole thing going on. This is like the second part of the excavation.
So they're probably getting ready to build a neighborhood here or something like that, and the archaeologists had to come out and survey it, and they found this.
Well, the thing about this is that most of the site is buried under a village. they've actually demolished one of the houses.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go on the one on the left there, you see that's like indoors on the on the left, not that bit, on the panel there with a 3D. Again, he's holding his phallus as well.
Right.
And
click on them.
yeah, click on one of them, and so that you can see that's under a structure, that's under a house, but that house is being removed now. This is all open. You know, we went there recently, and they've removed the entire house from it.
It was like some sort of like wild beast
Yeah,
attacking somebody. Oh,
On the left, you got an auroch. You got a guy jumping, holding something in his hand. Then you got two leopards.
Oh, look at the leopard eating the guy or getting ready to
Yeah, trying to go for the guy.
go for the guy who's having a wank.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it. Yeah. But this is like full of symbolism. The archaeologists claim this is what's called a narrative scene, where there's a different process of like kind of teaching almost going on here. I think it's astronomical. I think it's like, you know, Taurus, you got Orion the hunter, you got leopards, which could be Leo, and things like this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this kind of symbolism seems to match what's, you know, constellations and other such things. And this is all carved out of bedrock, like we find at Karahan Tepe.
Wow.
So there's a huge amount going on here. There's even an underground area here as well, which you can actually go inside and deep under, you know, it's almost like Derenkuyu, like a sort of small section of an underground city. And they found all sorts of things here. So this is completely carved out of bedrock, this whole thing. It's
wild.
It's incredible. And they're going to hopefully excavate the whole thing over the next couple of years. There's more sites. There's other sites like Yandel Hoyak, which is going to be proved to be bigger than Göbekli Tepe. There's a site called Çakmak Tepe, which is older than Göbekli Tepe. All in all these little sites are east of, pretty much, I think, just west of Göbekli Tepe and Şanlıurfa. And there's like 12 official Tas Tepe sites, but really there are probably 38, people are saying now. So there's all sorts of different there's different stuff coming, and it's all very similar. It's all got the same design.
Right.
It's almost like the same artist, but these stretch over 1,500, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
But they're all unique as well. They're all unique, but they've all got the same style. A bit like in Egypt, you know, you get the same kind of look. In the Mayan stuff, you get the same look, but it goes through multiple different sites and eras.
Yeah.
And that's happening in this part of the world as well. It's a very specific design spec. I mean, it must be some genius level people coming up with the first batch of the designs at like Göbekli Tepe and other places that then kind of spread through this whole area. And why they would build so many sites in such a kind of relatively small area is baffling. Here on the one on the left there, you got on the bottom left, you got like these small enclosures are being found with like, they're only like 15 feet wide or less.
Right.
With like 7 or 8 pillars, T-pillars around the edge with one in the middle. You've got like, the skeletons were found at this place as well, actually.
Yeah.
They found a whole bunch of skeletons here recently. Kind of, there's no official like elaborate burials of this culture.
Right.
It hasn't been found yet anyway. They found some bones, some skeletons in various places. They found actually skulls in Göbekli Tepe that have been kind of worked, like trepanned, and had holes cut through them and things like this, and be removed from the spine and things like this.
I think I remember the Snake Bros were showing me that stuff.
Yeah, so that's weird. I mean, basically you've got what could be a skull cult, they call it. You know?
Yeah.
You get the same kind of thing. You get caches of skulls at Cheano as well, another site. But yeah, so there's a whole. I mean, it's all happening. I mean, this is it. This is the time of like discovery of this culture. This is happening now. You can go there, you can see it being excavated. It's like going back a few hundred years into like Egypt, where stuff was still covered up by sand, or you know, the jungles of Guatemala, finding Tikal, the Mayan temples as you hack through.
Right.
This is happening now in this rocky landscape of southeast Turkey. This is like the time of discovery.
This is cool. This is cool stuff, man. And I think it's a great thing that Graham's getting such much more wide attention, getting another season of his show on Netflix.
Yeah.
With and Keanu Reeves likes it too. That's fun.
Yes.
And it's making it more available to people, and it's getting more people interested into it, which will hopefully bring in more funding to stuff like this, and digging up and finding more sites and making more discoveries and maybe even pushing back the timeline farther than we've imagined up till now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.